Hello, welcome back to another debate by Optics Trade. I'm Masha.
Hello, I'm Theodor.
Today we'll talk about the really common question we saw on Google. This is which binoculars are made in Europe. So I think in the past there were many producers that were producing optics in Europe.
Almost every country in Europe had their
Yeah.
own production of optics. Like Great Britain had many producers, even Italy, France, Spain, even Slovenia,
Yeah.
and Yugoslavia had producers and so on. I would say until Second World War, almost each country had their own, some in bigger format, others in smaller format productions of sport optics and binoculars. Now it reduced to just a couple of countries in Europe.
Yeah.
Basically three big countries.
And why is
Or-
that, you think?
Globalization
Yeah.
and free trade, because European Union is now a single market, and because of competition and so on, it's like 3-4 countries in Europe do most of the production of
Yeah.
binoculars, and everybody else ceased to produce binoculars. And basically now in modern times, it all got down to three basic principles of doing business, three business models.
Yeah, so we have producers that are doing everything in-house.
Yeah.
Then we have the ones that outsource their production,
Mm-hmm.
and OEM producers that produce products for other brands, so not for
Yeah.
their brand.
Even though here in Europe, honestly speaking, there is really not a lot of OEM producers.
No.
That, let's say Swarovski would produce optics for some other brand.
Yeah.
This is almost not common.
This is popular in Asia
Yeah.
more. And here in Europe, we have companies that have two business models, so doing some of their production in-house and some outsourced.
This is the most common model
Yeah.
now. Yeah. In the last couple of years, it's like, okay, like Carl Zeiss, for instance, we do the more expensive premium models
Yeah.
in-house by ourselves, and then we outsource their affordable models to Asia. Yeah.
To Asia, yeah.
Okay, when speaking about that, let's start with Germany.
Yeah.
You already explained how Zeiss works. It's a combination of two business models. They do their premium lines of products like Victory binoculars, HD and SF, Victory, both of them, and Conquest HD
Yeah.
binoculars they do in
In
Germany,
Germany.
in their production facilities. They outsource Terra
Mm-hmm.
to Asia, to Japan and China. It depends on which model. And then pocket models they outsource to their factory in Hungary.
Mm-hmm.
It's in-house but not in Germany. Okay, then the next one is Leica.
Yeah. Leica does all production in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
We have Germany and Portugal. I think more expensive models are made in Germany, like Noctivid, Ultravids. But Geovids that are expensive are made in Portugal.
Yeah. I think that because they are able to, because both of these two factories are theirs and they have
Yeah.
the same quality output in both of them. It's more like it's in-house, but not everything in Germany, also in Portugal. But
Yeah.
Portuguese models are still top-notch in quality
Yeah,
and also
it's
in
not
price.
the difference. Yeah.
Also in cameras, the most expensive cameras are made in Portugal. So okay, Leica doesn't really outsource.
No,
they just
no. Yeah. They have two locations of their
yeah,
productions.
and
so.
one of the locations is not in Germany.
Yeah.
Then we come to
So maybe Steiner.
okay, Steiner does all of their premium models and everything above, let's say, 300 euros does by themselves in their production facilities in Bayreuth, in Bavaria, in Germany normally. And they outsource some cheaper models, pockets models, and so on. Nobody knows where, but probably somewhere to Asia.
Yeah.
What is also true that they are producing the most affordable Poro models also by themselves in-house in Germany.
Yeah.
So-
So all Poro Prism binoculars are made in Germany.
Yeah, and that's really funny because you're able to buy 300 euros Poro
Yeah.
binoculars made in Germany from Steiner. Okay, Minox.
Minox is the same, so more affordable models made in Asia and more expensive ones made in Germany, like this X HD is made in Germany. This is more expensive series, and then we have X Active and I think X Light.
Live and Rapid, I think.
Yeah, that
also.
are made in China. So yeah, it's the same as all others.
There is one exception, or I would say two exceptions. So one is Blaser, which
Yeah.
is very, very young. Basically, they're producing binoculars only for a couple of years now,
Yeah.
and they do everything, at least they claim so, do everything in Germany. And the other one is Optolit, really
Yeah.
old producers in very limited quantities. It's also hard to find them on the market. They also produce everything in Germany. So those are the only two German brands which do everything in-house.
Yeah, all others outsource their production.
Yeah. Okay, next country will be...
Yeah, let's start with Austria.
Okay,
So Austria has
Swarovski.
the famous brand from Europe, the premium producer of binoculars, and they do everything in-house in Austria.
Yeah. All the mechanical parts, all the glass parts, they do
Yeah.
all the glass polishing, grinding, coatings, everything in their factory.
Yeah,
Really remarkable.
yeah,
Then we have Kales.
yeah.
Kales, what do they do?
Kales basically in the past they did their production of binoculars in Germany, right?
In Austria.
Sorry,
Austria.
Austria. Sorry, but now they outsource their production to Asia. I think to Japan. Their helium models are
Yeah.
made in Japan, and laser range finding model is made in China.
Yeah.
So
So they are using, basically they produce all the rifle scopes in-house in Vienna, while the binoculars they outsourced completely.
yeah,
We can continue with Czech Republic because I see Meopta here.
yeah,
Meopta is really interesting because they're one of the few manufacturers in Europe that also has OEM business model. So they produce parts of optics and whole optics for other brands. And this is really not common in Europe because
yeah.
it's impossible to find a binocular made by Swarovski but labeled as
Yeah.
anything else at Swarovski. So in Europe that's uncommon, but Meopta does produce products for other brands. And they also have their own series of like Meostar B1, which is produced by them in-house.
Yeah.
Then they have the Meopro
Neopro, yeah.
HD, which is produced in-house. And then they have the Optica HD, which is partially produced in-house, partially they get some parts from Asia for them so that they are able to keep the price down.
Yeah. They're a really big company, right?
I think they're by far the biggest company in Europe in terms of how many employees they have and so
Yeah.
on. Because honestly speaking, only in sport optics part, they have 2,000 and something people, while all others, like Swarovski is really big and has 970 people employed, so less than 2.5 less than Meopta. And then we come to really small
Small countries, yeah. We have Romania, which where IOR is located.
Yeah.
They actually have one model of binoculars which are made in Romania. So in Europe, I think it's really an old military binoculars. I haven't seen them.
Yeah, I have seen them in fairs and so
Yeah.
on. It's more for the collectors because it's the same since the 70s, like similar like this Habicht. This is also a binocular which is the same for the last 50 years. And I would say that the production numbers are really, really small.
Yeah.
IR does produce everything in-house, but they are more known for or famous for their tactical rifle scopes than for binoculars. Similar situation is with Bosnia.
Yeah, Zrak Sarajevo does the same one model of military binoculars, which are also produced since the 70s, I think, and really old.
Yeah, but again, for the collectors or for some military tenders somewhere. And then we come to others.
Yeah.
Russia still has some production of binoculars, even though they are not common on the markets here in Europe.
More affordable models, probably.
Yeah, Baigish, they're called. They have a couple of companies, but Baigish is the most famous one, and they're really, really affordable, and all of their models are basically the same for a really long time. Belarus is similar. It's Belomo, I think. Also products which is really hard to find here in Europe.
Yeah.
In the EU, not in Europe.
Yeah.
The same like with Russian binoculars. In EU, it's hard to find these binoculars, but we know that they are produced. And that's about it from the European countries regarding the production.
Let us mention some producers that are based in Germany but do all of their production elsewhere.
I would say brands, not the producers.
Sorry, brands, brands.
No, they call themselves producers, but they have this outsourced business model, which
Yeah.
is really common in the US. All
Yeah, yeah,
American brands do business like this, but in Europe it's still like an overall. You're an optical brand and you don't produce any of the optics.
yeah.
We are not used to this business model, even though it's really, really common.
Yeah.
Everybody in the US does it. I would say, which are the biggest names?
GPO.
GPO is big, yeah.
It's a newcomer in the field of optics.
German precision optics, they're
Yeah.
called that. They outsource their production to Japan, China.
In China, yeah. Then we have Delta Optical from Poland.
Ooh, they are huge.
Yeah, they
And
are big.
They are, I would say, the first really successful brand with
Yeah.
this American model, which is very common. In the US, nobody says to Loophole, to Vortex, what kind of business model you have.
Yeah.
They have the same business model as Delta
Yeah.
Optical, yeah.
Everything outsourced, yeah, to Asia.
Yeah, production-wise, yeah.
Yeah. We have some, I think, DD Optics, Hawk, yeah, Brown.
Brown, Practica,
Yeah,
Bracer, a lot of brands
a
which
lot of brands, yeah.
outsource their production. So this American trend is coming to Europe more
Yeah.
and more. But luckily, we also have brands like we mentioned, Zeiss, Leica, Swarovski, Steiner, which do a lot of in-house
Yeah,
production still. So a lot of binoculars are still produced in Europe.
yeah.
I think that's
That's it, yeah.
yeah. Okay, so if you liked our video, please subscribe, leave us a like, and normally, please your suggestions, send us suggestions for future videos. Thank you.
Bye.